What is up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Today's video we're going to talk about stop walk hunting. Okay, so a lot of us, we start our dogs off in this way where we are walking our dog through the woods off leash and letting it strike up and take off and possibly go tree. Now for coon dogs, specifically coon dogs, a lot of them break themselves off of this, and it is almost just that, right? They kind of, once they get it in their head that they can go look for it, you can almost bet that as soon as you unclip that leash, they're gone, right? So other breeds of dogs, okay, so like Feist, right? So Tilly here, I'm going through this kind of thing with her right now. I want to get to a place where I have to stop walking hunting her, but for her and her being a Feist, she doesn't hunt deep. She comes back, she checks in a lot, and some days she's gone for a good long time and she gets out there really deep, and other days she doesn't seem like she wants to get out from underneath my feet. And I have to walk hunt her. And some other dog breeds that hunt really close, or like cur dogs and things like that, are really known for not going so far, not hunting so deep, not ranging out so much. Now, I made this video because of you, Jacob Fryer. Big, huge shout out to you. You've been an awesome subscriber since day one. I'll just say that. And I want to put this video together for you. You brought it up, said that I should do it, and I think that I'm going to try to get every single nook and cranny of this that I can get pushed out, because I know that a lot of guys have been having this issue for quite a long time, right? And walk hunting is one of those, it's a trap, okay? So walk hunting is a trap in the sense that the longer that we do it, the harder it is to break, right? So it is kind of a trap. It's catch-22 in that sense. We need it to get our dog going, but then we need to stop it as soon as we possibly can. And hopefully our dog takes to that, and sometimes they do and sometimes they don't, you know. And I have the dog won't leave my feet video that's kind of applicable in this situation to a degree, and a little bit different sense of the of using it, right? So number one, there is a really good line in a movie, and I wanted to put this one in here because I think it fits perfectly. Okay, so the movie Ender's Game, the captain, he's talking to the psychologist, and he's talking about Ender, and he's telling her he has to think that nobody is going to help him, that nobody is going to save him, or he will never, ever, become what he's supposed to become. And it's kind of the same idea. We all back up, gone. We are not going to back these dogs up. I don't care if they mill. I don't care if they stay out there. I don't care if they come back. We're not backing them up. We are not going to show up and back them until they're treed, right? And they have to understand that. And some dogs will take a very long time. Like I said, the longer that we've walk hunted them, the kind of harder it is for them to get through their head, like, this isn't happening anymore. And, you know, drawing lines in the sand and things like that. Like, nope, this is done, this is kaput. And there's a lot of ways that we can translate this to the dog, and there's a lot of ways we can inch a dog to do it because it doesn't know how yet. And there's a lot of ways that we can give a dog no option to go ahead and be that way. One thing that I think could help doing this is if we go to the woods and we keep our dog on a leash, right? So we leash our dog up and we walk our dog on a leash through the woods until they hit something that they have to have, and then we cut it off, and then we just stay put, right? And we just wait. If the dog comes back, it goes back on the leash, and we walk it through the woods again, and as soon as it gets on something that it really has to have, we'll cut it off again and then go. Because what we're doing is we're looking for that micro circle to be completed, right? Because at some point in time, we're on the leash, we cut the dog, and then it's going to go and treat, and then we can walk to it and complete the process. But it's not getting the process of, oh, I get to lollygag around you, I get to, you know, come back and look at you and then run off and do all these kind of little silly games that they like to play. Female dogs are the worst for this, and I don't know what it is about them, but they are absolutely the most god-awful worst for it. I've seen it, and I don't know how many female dogs, and it's just something that goes through them. They're kind of, they want to go do it, but they don't want to do it without you, right? So we have to create a scenario and a situation to where the dog ultimately has to pick to go do it by itself. So how I used to start dogs, and this is going to be before I got into the walk hunting my dogs, what I would do, and this was some advice that my grandfather imparted to me actually, and that was go in the woods, pick you a spot, and cut the dog off, and just sit down and wait for the dog. And I started quite a few dogs like this. It takes a long time. It takes a long time for a dog to mill around you, and get tired of milling around by you and taking off. So if they make the choice on their own to go ahead and go do it, is a lot different than us encouraging them to come with us and go do it. Because some weird idea that they get in their mind is, he's gonna get me there and then I'll do my job. They lose the idea of, I have to go find it. Especially if we do this a lot, right? So typically, for the most part, like I've said in a couple of different videos, is that there's an acceptable amount of time that a dog can be gone and come back and then get walk hunted, right? We all have our limits. If a dog goes out and it is gone for a good while and then it comes back, I'm not upset about keep on walk hunting, right? Because you have went out, you have checked the area, you haven't found anything that you liked, so you come back, okay, so I'm going to get you on up farther, and then you're going to do this again. But if we're having a dog that is just wanting to go like 20, 30 feet, 100 feet, a couple hundred yards, and then come right back, that can be annoying, and that can be frustrating in the sense that, oh, you need to get out there and you need to go around and you need to find something, or you should be able to find what you're looking for within that amount of time. So walk hunting is a really good way to start up a dog. It's a really good way to get a dog to get something done that it doesn't know how to do yet. And walk hunting is a great benefit for covering more ground that your dog necessarily hasn't covered yet. So if he's hunted off this way, we can walk him off that way. Or if he's hunted up that way, we'll walk him over here, right? So we can kind of direct where we're hunting if the dog hasn't already hunted there. So another idea that the dogs would get in their mind is, he's following me, right? So for the most part, especially early on, following our dogs and letting our dogs dictate where we go is a good place to back your dog up, a good place to lend them confidence, a good place to go ahead and send them on their way and let them know, like, hey, yeah, I'm backing you up, go ahead and go, right? And these early baby step kind of stages, it's really good to follow your dog around. Not so much when they're older, right? It's not so much when they've been running for a long time. So just stopping altogether, and a dog that does really well walk hunting, and then you try to stop walk hunting, it will try to regress aggressively, right? So you'll have a dog that will definitely tree you coons if we walk hunt it, but when we stop walk hunting it, then it just looks like this thing is just laying at my feet. It don't want to go nowhere. It don't want to do nothing. I can't do nothing. What we have to do is we have to dig our feet in, and we have to stay planted in the idea of, I am going to wait this dog out. And eventually the dog will roll over and it will quit this and it will go do what it's supposed to do. If it has any type of want to, the stubbornness is what is going to calculate and dictate the amount of time that the dog takes. The dog is going to look at you and go, yeah, he's going to give up any time, and then we're going to be walking. Yep. He's gonna walk me up here anytime now, and he's gonna keep on doing it and keep on doing it and keep on doing it until you break and you give in. So my advice, my best advice that I think that I could possibly give you to stop walk hunting is to go to the woods and just don't budge. Walk the dog in on a leash until it hits something that it really likes, and then cut it off, and then do not move again. Do not move again. And until you're tired of it, stand right there in that same place, find you a nice log to sit on, and just sit there and 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 just sit there, right? If that dog comes back and wants to hang out, ignore the dog. Don't let it get on you. Don't let it come by you. If it wants to try to lay down, stand up, get it back on its feet, and then just just play the game that the dog is playing until the dog quits it, right? That is kind of the wherewithal that we need to have, and sometimes it takes a extraneous amount of wherewithal. Some dogs that I started this way without walk hunting, where I just go in the woods and I sit and wait for them to get off. It's a long time, right? It doesn't take a couple minutes. It can take hours. It can take multiple trips to the woods and multiple hours of sitting and sitting and sitting to wait that dog out and to get that dog broke off of you and off of your backup and off of your support. And some dogs, what they do, especially if they've been solo trained, so this is what makes it really extremely hard to do this and break a solo trained dog. And what I mean by that, and I've talked about this in my whole entire channel, is a dog that has been trained without other dogs, like a dog that has been trained solely by you. No running with other dogs, no trained by other dogs, none of this stuff. These dogs are the ones that will give you the biggest and most difficult time breaking them from walk hunting, because they are reliant on you. You have taught them everything about out there. You have got them from point A to point B. You have backed them up. You have been their support. You have been the person that they take their cues from. And it's kind of like exactly what you see when you take a dog that has been ran and started with other dogs, and then you take the other dogs away and the dog goes, what do I do, right? So at some point in time, we have to push them out of the nest. And that's what we're doing, is we're pushing them out of the nest. And we can't back them up. We can't support them. We have to turn the reins over to them, and we have to wait on them. And that's just waiting them out, man. That is the most infuriating, most frustrating, most gut-wrenching thing, when you have a dog that looks really good a lot of the time, and then it just kind of wants to lay down. And it's like, oh my gosh, man. How long can I put up with this? How long can I stand this? And then you start pondering and fighting back and forth. Is walk hunting really that bad? I guess I can just walk up there. You know what I mean? And for the most part, our better judgment is what we need to be reliant on, right? And taking all things into consideration. Like if I had a coon dog, if I had a coon hound that needed to be walk hunted, unless I was a walk hunter. Okay, so if I am a walk hunter, I don't care, right? So I'll walk hunt any dog if I'm a walk hunter. So if I'm not a walk hunter, if I don't want to be a walk hunter, if I have a dog that needs to be walk hunted, it's a huge no-no. You are going to hunt by yourself, or that's it. Especially for a coon dog, right? So, like I said, coon dogs will typically break themselves off this after the first couple of times that they tree something. You will cut them off and you won't see them again until they treed. As far as these other breeds of dogs, I can't really tell you what's going to get you there. I'm in the same boat right now with Tilly. Like I said, I've posted videos saying, my goal over this next month is to get her to where I cut her loose and she goes trees. I don't want her checking in. I want her gone, and I want her staying gone until she gets something. But we have to take all things into consideration. And like I said, we have to cut all ties with the backup and with the support. And if the dog falls on its face, it's just going to fall on its face. And you have to let the dog fall on its face and fall on its face and fall on its face and fall on its face until it's tired of it, to the point to where it goes, okay, I'm relying on myself now. I am what is controlling and dictating this. And the dog has to make kind of a conscious decision to betray you, right? So if a dog, you know what I mean? If a dog, and they're not really betraying you, but a dog in their sense and their mind is going, he's my owner, I'm loyal to him, I don't want to leave him hanging, he's been following me around, I go where he goes where I go, we're buddies, we're pals, I can't turn my back on him to go do my own thing, because what about him? Right? So there's a degree of that. I think that's why it gets severely cooked into these female dogs, because they get such an attachment to their handlers, such an attachment to their owners, and it becomes a bigger hurdle and a bigger wall to climb. So with all that being said, I hope talking about this and talking about the different aspects of why these things happen, you can remedy some of these ideas on your, or come up with some ideas to remedy this on your own. And also the advice that I'm giving is stop backing the dog up, stop walking anywhere besides to where you cut, and set your time clock. Say, I'm gonna wait 2 hours. If she don't go, then I'm packing it up and we'll come try again. I'm going to set 2 hours. If she don't go, I'm just going to keep doing this until it happens. How long of a trap or how long of a tunnel that you're going to have to dig in this, and how big of a pit it's going to put in your stomach, how big of an aggravation it's going to put in your brain to get this to stop, I couldn't tell you. Honestly, I couldn't tell you. It's completely incumbent on your dog. Some dogs get it, you know, one session. Some dogs that take a couple sessions, and some dogs may just never get it, you know, and they might just have to be walk hunted. I am so sorry, man. I know you've been dealing with this and getting the dog to range out and things like that. But at the end of the day, we have to consider all things. And maybe it's just the breed of dog. Maybe it's just the breeding of the dog. Maybe she'll do it. Maybe she won't do it. And if they'll get a hold of something. And that's my gauge, right? And that is the gauge that I use. If you have done it once, you can do it every time. It's not, things are not, you know, things are not just incumbent on like, okay, they did it one time, they'll never do it again. No, if you do it once, it's repeatable. You can keep on doing it. So if we've ever had a dog that we cut it and it busted off, you know, 600-800 yards, 1,000 yards, and it's treed something, and then we walked in there to it and it never came back once, that dog can do that every single time. It's just a matter of pressuring and forcing that dog to go ahead and do that in a healthy way, and without doing too much negative things, right? So it's not a bad thing to ignore your dog. It's not a bad thing to sit out in the woods. It's not a bad thing to wait your dog out. It's not a bad thing to force your dog to be independent. And if we're doing it in just that way, is this: you can wait all day, but I'm going to wait longer. Oh, you didn't want to do it this time? Well, we'll get you next time, and we'll get you next time, and we'll get you next. We have to be tougher and more stubborn, without losing our composure. And that's the big thing. That's the big ticket, and that's the big thing that gets a lot of guys, is not having the wherewithal to not lose our stuff and just go bananas, right? Because a lot of that stuff is that. Tilly is pushing my nerves quite a lot, but I'm giving her a fair shake and a fair chance. What is going to happen for her is when I cut her loose and she does peel off and she does tree something, and I do get that down, because she has treed me squirrels, but I couldn't get them down because I can't see them. So that has been just like a punch in the chin every time that happens. And I've had them where I've spotted them and I got a tree in, and then I've lost them in the tree. So I've been having a heck of a time getting her to complete the process so I can cut off all the help. They gotta want to do it. They need to be able to do it on their own, and we gotta stop lending them the hand. Unless you are a walk hunter. If you are, and if we need to assess ourselves, okay? So if we are breaking a dog from walk hunting and then walk hunting it, and then breaking a dog from walk hunting and then walk hunting it, and then breaking a dog from walk hunting and then walk hunting it, that's a us problem, because we're trying to break a dog of doing something that is our fault, right? So I will walk hunt a dog instinctually, right? It's kind of just what happens. And if I feel like a hunt's going well and I feel like they went out and they've done their thing and they came back, I'm a walk hunter. I will walk hunt a dog. I will also stay put and let the dog go. I need to be able to have a dog that will do both. And that's just kind of who I am. And like I said, if we're doing all this stuff to break a dog, and then we just start in walk hunting some more, and then we do all this stuff to break a dog and then start in walk hunting, we're just driving ourselves in circles and we're causing ourselves a headache. So, you know, I'm going to wrap that video up. That's a lot of rambling about all this stuff, but it's all pertaining to certain situations, and it's all pertaining to dogs specifically, things like that. But, you know, big shout out to every one of you guys. You know, don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button if you guys are tuning in and ain't subscribed yet. Got the Dogster stuff, got the dog and hunt stuff. Don't forget to check out some Nook Shook dog food. Y'all know the deal, man. Keep them treated.